to another Mr. Fly the Sky React video. It is my birthday, and I do have severe, I don't know about severe, but I do have a lot of sunburn. So, on my birthday, today we are reacting to IIMSA Northeast Grand Prix Extended Highlights 6/16/2022. Here we go.
Start of the 2022 FCP Euro Northeast Grand Prix live here on RS2 IIMSA Radio with Shay Adam from the pitch, Jeremy Shaw and Johnny Palmer in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre. 15 GT3 cars, all of the same spec. It's the driver combinations that differ. Head out of the final corner then at the downhill, turn 7, and we're underway. Yes, the clock is starting to tick down now with a good getaway for Matty Campbell on the inside of Jack Hawksworth. He's got the jump and forcing the Corvette wide of Jordan Taylor is Ross Gunn in the third place. Heart of racing team Aston Martin. Loads of dust being kicked up in the background though on the exit of turn 2. You've got a Mercury car from one side of the road on the exit of Big Bend to the inside of the left-hander, and so far so good for the cars that have started this race in neat and tidy fashion from a long way back there, trying to squirrel his way to the outside of the chicane. So running into the uphill there was Madison Snow, hard on the brakes to try and get ahead of the second of the Heart and Racing team, Aston Martins. That's been started by Roman De Angelis, but no place change. Already we are at the end of the first lap. If this stays green, we could be almost at 180 laps by the end of the day, but it is a big ask. Obviously last year's race was affected heavily by rainfall and lost us well over an hour in the end. Side-by-side action into Big Bend as well. The Turner Motorsport BMW about to lose places, including to a fellow Bavarian Mark Carr. The BMW switching places there, so good overtake for Madison Snow on the starting driver in the 96 Turner Motorsport BMW of Robbie Foley. So elbows out already, Jeremy Shaw, but it has been a neat and tidy start nevertheless.
It has, and a good start there for Colin.
The chicane, or the essence, or whatever you want to call it.
And Ryan Hardwick on the first corner. He's also managed to get Miles 8 Reed in the Red Racing Acura as well on that first lap. So good early charge for Colin D. Fleepy. That's going to be a bit more tricky, but also a change of the lead in GTD. Frankie Montecalvo losing out then to Robert
We're gonna cut through something exciting, and we're just gonna keep on watching the first
so he started
here.
on the outside of row 3, remember, with the 25 car push at the back. Everybody effectively promoted a spot from third and downwards. Nose to tail now between the Wright Motorsport Porsche, the only Porsche in GT Daytona standard, which that car's been started by Ryan Hardwick, also making ground therefore from 14th position.
Ryan Madison was definitely the driver at the start of this race. You guys talked a lot about strategy after qualifying not going the way you wanted. Was that what you discussed, take it up to third by the end of lap 5?
I mean, it's what we told Madison we wanted him to do. That was an amazing start. He was ready to go. I think that he wasn't happy with qualifying. Everyone else understands the situation, but he was not pleased with it. And there's nothing quite like watching Madison drive when he has a little bit of fire behind him. So right now he's tucked up behind the Aston, and it looks like he has really good pace. Looks like the car is good. So it's tough to tell here. I mean, we're still super early in the tire life, so everybody looks pretty reasonable. What we'll start to pay attention to is the next 15-20 laps, see where everybody drops off, where everybody kind of plateaus, and hopefully when that starts to happen, we're on the plus side of it.
You guys did a lot of work through practice with long runs. You're expecting that to be more in your favor as the session goes on?
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's the hope. We definitely put all of our priority on that, none of it really on qualifying. So I hope that it pays off for us. In front of us we have a couple really good cars that historically have been good on tire life here. The Aston was super strong here last year, and they were able to kind of keep the tires underneath them. And the Mercedes can usually do the same. So, like I said, I mean, you never really know what to expect until the race, till everyone goes on full fuel and the same set of tires. This would be our barometer on where it's going to go for the rest of the race.
Madison said in the interview after you guys won Long Beach that you weren't caring at all about the Sprint Cup. Now with the championship coming down to the wire and you guys in the lead, starting to care a little bit more.
I mean, of course you care, but I think the big thing about this whole deal is you just got to go race by race, and you got to deliver your best performance every single time, whether it's in a points chase or not, you know. So I think our main goal is to try and get back on track. I don't think we've been very happy with the way our last 2 races have
Could you
gone.
shut up, please?
And we just want to get back to moving in the right direction again. And if that just so happens to result in that, then we did a good job. And if not, then we need to figure out why we weren't able to.
Good luck the rest of the day, Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So little.
Introducing Welcome Unlimited from Verizon.
Bruh, my guy doesn't shut up. Oh my god. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, especially because of my birthday. Can you please comment happy birthdays in the comments, please?
Verizon.
Verizon balls.
Little quarter given and taken around here. Just a track that is a slither less than 1.5 miles around.
Well, my arms are on
all
fire
15
right now.
cars built to the same specification as Jeremy's just been detailing. Was that a slight mistake on the brakes for Roman De Angelis into the chicane? And Madison Snow is going to try and pounce now as they head towards West Bend. They were
West
too abreast
Bend, maybe
approaching
it's the
turn 6,
North Bend.
heading underneath the Haggerty Bridge, but no way through at the downhill. And that is why it's so easy to just make a very slight error, and then your rival is right on your boot, Jeremy Shaw.
Not my booty.
Yeah, that was a good effort there by Madison Snow. We didn't get too brave around the outside at West Bend because you
New Hampshire for the Cup Series today. I missed it for the Xfinity Series, but I guess somebody must have to catch Fence Ryan into air, bro. I was doing like a birthday party kind of thing. Went to some place, like a water park, like an obstacle course on the lake. With some water, like a water slide.
It was the
Looks
merest
like a
drop of
slippery
green, wasn't it,
slide
from
that you
those rear
slide
Michelins,
down.
and as he was trying to slow the car down, needed to
They
get the
purposed
turning
it.
right, but he was off the apex as
Like
a
2
result, and then
hours
his
away,
pickup
so
of the
it's
throttle
not
was
really-
delayed because
Can
of
get
that as
back to
well.
it.
So I think that is tyre related, as you mentioned. Maybe Madison
Left
Snow,
it.
even though Madison's been pushing, in fairness, in the Paul Miller Racing BMW from the off, looks like he might have a bit more performance rubber to lean upon as he goes now to the inside of Big Bend. Again, the BMW, even though it's a bigger car.
And Jack Hawksworth is in for another stint. This was part of their run plan. Leave Jack in for a double to kick things off as we welcome him back to the IIMSA WeatherTech Sportscars. He gets rolling. He's in the fast lane. The Corvette needs to yield to him. The Corvette did not yield to him. I wonder if race control is going to look at that because the Lexus was in the fast lane and did have to slow down for the Corvette leaving. That is not the way it's written in the rule book, but 2 very good stops from 2 very good teams.
There was a significant jink of the steering column for Jordan Taylor, but there was no contact on the run out. But however, the lesson is, the rule is that you must yield to the car that is already in the fast lane. So the Corvette arguably had its nose ahead, but didn't have the track position or the pit lane position, if you like, as it rejoined. However, the 3 car is now ahead on the road of the Vassar Sullivan car, which is still being driven by Jack Hawksworth. So a shade detail, no driver changes, but there is a positional change within GT Daytona Pro, because the new 3rd place car for the time being, Jeremy, is the number 3 Corvette.
Indeed it is, and that's Roscoe, yes, he's
There we
giving up
are.
that position there.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say was the rules are pretty clear.
Gotta get
If you're
position back,
overlapping
penalty there.
As you come out of your pit box, the car on the outside, as Adam was just saying, is already in the fast lane. That has priority.
The less quick driver, if you like, and that's going to happen in the next lap, pretty much. Shea Adam reckons there's a lot of movement potentially on the pit wall just around the corner, Jeremy.
Yeah, there will be, absolutely. It'll be a busy place in probably next time around, actually. The 45 minutes will be elapsed by then. So I would expect, certainly, the back of the field, I would think probably the leaders will come in too, because Frankie Montalcavo doesn't want to lose too much time if Madison Snow is going to get out there and turn some really, really quick laps.
2-car record,
He
1
has
car
just
spin.
done. He's just turned his best lap of the race.
Oh, watch out,
And
bro.
that
He's
is the
going back to
fastest
that
lap
car.
of the race overall, in fact,
Wow.
for Madison Snow, a 52.374 for the number 1 car. So brilliant lap times there for Madison Snow. That's exactly what the team wanted him to do.
Well,
He's actually
why did
now
we never come up and now talk
passed
about the spinning and crashes?
What happened with Connor Di Filippi a couple of laps ago? He's coming through the right-hander at the downhill.
Oh, there it is.
And Cooper McNeil was looking for the pit lane, and Connor Di Filippi wanted to go straight and down the main start-finish part of the lap. So Cooper McNeil trying to stay as far right as possible. That's just a little bit of the nature of this circuit, where you are trying to pick up the throttle, but the car in front wants the pit road, Jeremy.
Yes and no. I mean, the etiquette here is, as you're coming down the hill, you signal with your hand to the car behind you. When we see them,
There you go. Dad had one.
once again, just
I
no
was
luck at
full
all for this number 25 team
in the
this season.
donut.
You can't blame them for that. He obviously didn't realise number 79 car was coming down the hill.
Brian Latham, they might just go for 2. And then the 14 Lexus will be doing fuel, and Ben Barnican taking over that car.
So Alex Ramirez in the 23 rejoining the race. It leaves for the time being the top 2, but they are absolutely together, and Matty Campbell might have got the inside line here on Jack Hawksworth for the overall lead of the race. He needs to be later on the brakes into the right-hander at turn 6 at West Bend, and that was superb driving because he'd lined the Lexus up into the flick-flack at the chicane, just got Hawksworth off his stride, and that was the only chance that Matty Campbell required. Superb overtake for the lead, Jeremy.
Yeah, lap 100 of this race then, and that was a great move going into West Bend by Matty Campbell. Clearly he's got a really good car here at the moment, but he took advantage of the slightest of slips by the Lexus, and through he goes.
And that's the one we've been waiting for, because I do sense now that the number 9 car from Canadian team FAF Motorsports will be able to open up a fairly significant gap now. Jack Hawksworth's car will need to bid earlier than Matty Campbell.
Absolutely. I mean,
Introducing Welcome Unlimited from Verizon at our best price ever. Just $30 per line.
For real?
For real, Fran, $30.
Nice.
Keep your phone and we'll help you cover the cost to switch. Easy peasy. Just $30 a line. Only from Verizon.
5 seconds is the gap between those two Lexuses, and it has been for all of this stint, basically. So Aaron's certainly keeping pace with Ben Barnican. Now the question is, does he have to make another stop before the end of this race? Because he's got about 16.5 seconds in hand over Maxime Martin, and that is not enough to come in and make a pit stop. And there is a change of position for
Philip Ellis.
GTD. Yes, Philip Ellis getting past Maxime Martin.
Yeah, now I don't know what happened in the build-up to that. It must have been a big
that we saw that one time.
Just been edging closer.
But I wonder whether that edging closer has forced a very rare mistake from Belgian driver Maxime Martin. Like you say, the gap had been closing second to third, as it was in GT Daytona Pro as well. Both cars are likely, I think, to be overtaken by Antonio Garcia, and at least caught a little bit more by the repaired Corvette after its damage on the rear right corner. Remember Antonio Garcia tripping up over Jules Gounon when he was trying to make hay through the traffic as quickly as possible, and sadly did damage to a toe link on the rear of that Corvette. Took the team quite a long time to repair that, and it fell to 5 laps down from the GT Daytona Pro class leader. But Antonio Garcia with some ground to make up. This would not be for position, but he might be able to get ahead of Maxime Martin if, again, Martin is in fuel-save mode. And this was actually the car, remembering back to what Shea Adams said about Maxime Martin, he's easing off the throttle on the run into Big Bend, again, deliberately, so that they make the finish and to go as tenderly as possible on this set of Michelin tyres, Jeremy. Shea Adams reporting that something has happened at the final corner. And it might well be the 51 Acura NSX that was right on the tail of the Porsche, and I notice he's no longer there because Ryan Eversley was right with Mathieu Chamonix at the end of the lap. And now, what was I saying about a tweak in the tail, Jeremy Shaw? We have been green from the start of this race. It is Ryan Eversley's NSX which has ended up into the tyre wall, underneath the tyre wall, sadly, for the Rick Ware Racing car of Aidan Reed and Ryan Eversley, the current driver. No idea what happened there. Ryan is moving around in the cockpit, I'm delighted to say, and he now offers a thumbs up to the onboard camera. But there's a rather battered and bruised Acura NSX, and crucially, Jeremy, it's a full course caution with the pit lane closed initially.
He might be stuck in
Yeah,
there
that's
for a
right.
second.
21 minutes to go. Is anybody going to come in and gamble and put on some fresh tyres, perhaps, and go to the end from here? Let's have a look, see if we can see. This is at West Bend. and that was Jaminet straying a couple of wheels off the road, and everything. Wow,
overshot
gosh.
him. Boom.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming down the downhill there, just carrying
flower.
too much speed into the corner. They can't understeer mid-corner.
Backing everybody up, but now going for a restart is Mathieu Jaminet as he heads into the downhill turn number 7. He has just about got a jump on Alex Riberas, and Riberas immediately defensive. Also Philip Ellis charging hard on the car ahead of him, which is the race leader in GT Daytona, Aaron Tielitz. Can Tielitz hold Ellis back? Yes, just about, but to the high side of Alex Riberas is now Ben Barnicoat, but Barnicoat's shuffled out of that one as well. There is a lead change for GT Daytona though, as Philip Ellis wastes absolutely no time at all in the Winward racing car. He's ahead of Aaron Tielitz in the number 12 Lexus. What else is changing? Well, Mathieu Jaminet is just driving away into the sunset with 8 3/4 minutes to go, Jeremy.
Told you he had everything in control, didn't he? He looked super under control all the way through, well, pretty much all the way through this race. In actual fact, he had to give up the lead for the middle stages, but he's just lit a fire and disappeared at the front of the field. Stunning first lap here for Mathieu Jaminet on the restart, but yeah, all sorts of shuffling behind.
So there was a lead change, and Aaron Tielitz, has he got enough now up his sleeve to hold back the ever closer? Oh, there's damage to Tielitz's car, and now to the inside line will go the number 1 car of Brian Sellers to take second position, I think, away of Clash. Surely Tielitz isn't going to be able to deal with that flapping bonnet, which is starting to obscure his vision, no doubt, and they're all queuing up behind him. Maxime Martin in the number 27 Aston Martin looking for a way by Vahada Racing Team. Mike Skeed is in that queue as well, and that's only going to get worse, Jeremy. It's somehow become detached, the bonnet on the front right, and is starting to cause massive problems for Aaron Tielitz's visibility.
It certainly is, and Brian Sellers are absolutely on a charge. He got past number 27 Martin at the restart as well. He's also now got past Aaron Tielitz. So I'm in the second position now for Brian Sellers.
Roll it through the grass.
Has really come a mile
What's
from
on
that
the
team.
bottom?
One of those ones you had to stick with because it looked very kind of open in terms of the final positions, rather cemented into position, but it's all changing now because keep an eye out, by the way, for Jules Gounon, as all of a sudden right over the curbs there goes Aaron Tielitz. He can't pick his turning point with the bonnet trying to part company from the rest of the car, so that's a whole load more positions lost at Big Ben for Aaron Tielitz in the Vasser Sullivan car. The Lamborghini of Jess Westphal has just got through, but Jules Gounon is still tucked in behind the Wright Motorsports car of Jan Halen, and Gounon could yet make waves as he's been trying to do all race long. So it was side-to-side contact in the overtake from Philip Ellis, which has caused this damage, and for the bonnet to start to rise on Aaron Tielitz's car side to side. It wasn't as clean a mover as I had at first thought from Philip Ellis. He was trying to close the door. How do you call that, Jeremy? You are supposed to allow a car width when you're still overlapping.
Yeah, so, right, absolutely right.
Maybe I'll answer my own question.
Given up that game, and he's into the pits now.
He's in pit lane.
For some attention to that car. Incident involving cars 12 to 57 reviewed, no action.
Interesting.
Race control.
It's the Lamborghini that is right on the tail of Mike Skeen, then a small gap back to Jan Halen, who's being picked up by Jules Gounon. Just under 3 minutes to go. And the finishing order off the podium places within GT Daytona could be anything, Jeremy Shaw.
He certainly could, and Brian Sellers is now not quite able to match that pace of Phil Ellis, who's set the fastest lap in a couple of races this season. They've had a strong pace in the number 57 car, but not yet the win until perhaps now. So they're certainly pushing hard and looking good at the moment. That's Phil Ellis in that Winward Racing car number 57.
The concern here is that the track is so dirty offline that if you launch your way into the marbles in an attempted overtake, you could go skating off into the scenery. Very similar to how, unfortunately, Ryan Eversley left proceedings not too long ago. So that is so tricky around this bullring at Mine Rock Park, heading out of the final corner at turn 7 and over the line again. Ben Barnicoat separated by a couple of car lengths, if that, back to the GT Daytona leader, Philip Ellis. Daytona Pro still led by young Frenchman Mathieu Jaminet by just under 2 seconds. Alex Riberas in second position in the 23 Aston Martin, and then it's Ben Barnico with his hands full of this Philip Ellis Mercedes, looking for a way by, but it's not as forceful of an attack from the German than we saw to take the class lead, and you can understand why. Heart in mouth moment, possibly for Matty Campbell. I think he's feeling relatively relaxed though at the top of the Pratt perch, peering down at Mathieu Jaminet, and elsewhere within Lexus. Oh, and off again Halen, and that will have given a place to Jules Gounon, as long as Jules kept things on the straight and narrow as well. 16 car of Wright Motorsport has fallen behind Gounon, and possibly Aaron Tielitz as well in that repaired, or at least minus some bodywork Lexus. What happened here then? Was there contact? Yes, there certainly was. Jules Gounon, fairly easy to read that one, Jeremy Shaw, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, that the uphill chicane there certainly appeared to get attacked from behind under braking, unsettled the 16 car, and around went the Porsche. So that's kind of cost him another position. I think he was probably able to get going again before Aaron Tielitz was onto the scene, but that would be very disappointing for that number 16 team.
Yeah, a real shame that, and also for Jules Gounon as well. Depends how the officials look at that. 21 seconds to go on the clock, heading through the downhill now for the race leader and kicking up the dust. Not an inch of letting up, because he's got 1.9 seconds still to go. Heading down into Big Bend, 1.9 seconds as a buffer margin, that is. With the final lap called now, so the white flag was out for Mathieu Jaminet. 2.1 seconds to the good of Alex Riberas. Still got a moment to kind of let the concentration drain away, but Jaminet is just not of that type, really. He will stay utterly focused on the end goal here, and the restart was key as he headed out of West Bend, through towards the downhill. Got the jump on Alex Riberas, and Riberas was not able to offer a response. Ben Barnico has been far more focused on the closing of Philip Ellis. Brian Sellers should be okay for second position now, with Maxime Martin running in third, but it's been a superb drive, really, for 2 days running from Pfaff Motorsports of Canada, and for Matty Campbell and Mathieu Jaminet. They had to do it the hard way with that very late full course caution with 22 minutes left on the clock. Oh, a car slowing down. Now, has that made the line? Is that the 57 car? That's the Winwood car that is running out of fuel. So a complete change of order at the closing stages. It is Brian Sellers and Madison Snow who will win the race in GT Daytona, as the 57 Winwood car was so tight on fuel. We mentioned how hard
you guys enjoyed the video.
Mainly for track position.
Oh my gosh,
but it is Madison Snow and
Sitting there.
They had terrible days. This is even better for you guys in the champion.
the racetrack, but they
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and goodbye.
At GT